Welcome to NACTV Reads the Banner. My name is Catherine Jasnick. Today I am reading the banner dated February 10th, 2017. I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. You may be joining us online, Neepawa Access Live, WCG 12, Channel 30 Direct Sightline, MTS, or Bell Express View. These broadcasts are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, and donations by viewers like yourself. If you enjoy what you see and hear, please consider supporting us by a donation or by volunteering. Contact our office at 204-476-2639 or nactv@wcgwave.ca. And today, on the first page of the Neepawa banner, we have drawings for Neepawa's new fire hall, which have been unveiled. And it's a beautiful looking building. Neepawa received its first look at the exterior design of the new fire hall on Tuesday, February the 7th. The drawings were a collaborative effort between the town of Neepawa, the Neepawa Fire Department, and Kulnitsky Associates Architects, Inc., the Winnipeg firm selected to aid in the design process. Neepawa is one step closer to starting construction on its new fire hall. On Tuesday, February the 7th, Town Council presented the completed drawings for the proposed 10,000 square foot structure, which will be built on the former CN property near Mill Street. The design work was a collaborative effort between the town, members of the Neepawa Fire Department, and Kulnitsky Associates Architects, Inc., a Winnipeg-based company selected to come up with the design. Mayor Adrian de Groot said that it's very satisfying to see momentum building around this extremely important project. This process started a long time ago. It's been on the agenda for years and years. Now it's starting to take shape, and we're seeing some physical evidence of all that work and planning, said de Groot. Quite a bit of detail has gone into the design, making sure that the new building isn't all glitz. What's most important is that it's a functional building that'll suit the needs of the community and the region. Ed Kulnitsky of Kulnitsky Associates Architects, Inc., noted that the style of the structure is contemporary. He added that the town officials made the process very easy as they knew what they required in the building and were able to assist greatly during in the development stage of the drawings. Fire Chief Scott Gibson noted that one of the best features of the design is that it is adaptable. He feels this facility will be able to grow and evolve as the years progress. What's important about the design is that it not only suits the needs of the fire department now, but that it'll be able to do so for years to come. And as we as a department evolve, so will the building, whether it's additional space for equipment or the ability to upgrade the facility itself, said Gibson. De Groot added to Gibson's comment, noting that the balance between form and function was important to the planning process. In that sense, he feels that they've struck the perfect balance. It has a modern flair, but doesn't compromise the quality and functionality of the structure. If it looks good, that's great, but it means nothing if it doesn't serve the firefighters. Fortunately, this design has both style and function, stated de Groot. Some of the interior details are also finalized. It gives you a rough idea of where the mezzanine floor is, where the offices are, and where the mutual aid room is in relation to the main area. As for the next step, de Groot said the technical and engineering work on the foundation is already moving ahead and will ensure that they're ready to go to tender soon. And we have two more photos here from different aspects on the new proposed fire hall. And it will be on that former CN property near Mill Street. Very, very nice looking building, which I'm sure will certainly accommodate our fire department in a much better manner than what they're presently in. And we have the census. The census shows that Manitoba is growing. Manitoba's population is rising, but the gains aren't evenly distributed across the province. That was a story revealed on February 8 when Statistics Canada released its first data regarding Census 2016. Information on 6 more topics will be released throughout this coming year. Overall, the country's population grew by 5% between 2011 and 2016. On Census Day 2016, Canada's population sat at 35.1 million people. Statistics Canada reports that about 2/3 of Canada's population growth in the last 5 years was the result of immigration. Natural increase, the difference between the number of births and deaths, accounted for the remaining growth. Manitoba's population also grew, registering a 6% gain in population. Alberta and Manitoba were the only 2 provinces to post higher growth rates from 2011 to 2016 than between 2006 and 2011. As a result of strong growth, almost 1/3, 31.6% of Canadians, lived in the West in 2016, the largest share on record. This also marked the first time in 80 years that Manitoba posted a higher growth rate than the national average. Most of that population gain was due to stronger international migration. Within the Neepawa Banner's coverage area, the changes were mixed, with some municipalities gaining populations while others lost. Neepawa saw the largest increase, gaining 980 people, a 27% increase. Neepawa Mayor Adrian de Groot said that the town isn't surprised by the figure, noting that they have already experienced challenges related to a growing population, such as housing shortages. He noted that the numbers validate what they have seen and will help them as they seek investment in projects such as seniors' housing. Lots of decisions are based on numbers and statistics, he said. While the increased population will help Neepawa as it seeks investment, de Groot did note that there is a downside. The town will have to pay more for services, such as the RCMP, which are paid for on a per capita basis. Apart from Neepawa, area municipalities saw their changes stay within 10% of their previous population levels. The largest loss was experienced by Harrison Park, which saw its population fall by 177 residents, or 10%. While overall population across the region saw a modest increase, most of the growth was in the more urban municipalities. The more rural municipalities tended to see a decline in their populations. For municipalities that have amalgamated since the 2011 census, pre-amalgamation populations were combined to make the 2011 figure. The next release will take place May 3rd and will include data about age and gender of the respondents, as well as the type of dwellings in which they live. And Neepawa census was 4,609, up from 3,629 in 2011. Rosedale, their population was 1,672 in 2016, compared to 1,627 in 2011, which is a change of 45 and an increase at 3%. North Cyprus Langford was 2,745 in 2016, and in 2011 was 2,627, which is a change of 118 people and a 4% increase. Glenella Lansdowne is 1,181 compared to the 1,245 in 2011, and that's minus 64 people and a minus 5%. Minnedosa was 2,449 as of 2016 compared to 2,587, which is a minus 138 change and a minus 5%. Westlake Gladstone had 3,154 in 2016 compared to 3,068 in 2011, which is 86 more people and a 3% increase. St. Rose is 1,712 compared to 1,794, which is a loss of 82 and a minus 5%. McCreary has 892 2016 compared to 948 in 2011, which is a loss of 56 people and a minus 6%. Clan William Erickson is 870 in 2016 compared to 901 in 2011, which is a minus 31 and a minus 3%. Harrison Park, 1,622 in 2016 compared to 1,799, which is a loss of 177 people and a minus 10%. Carberry is 1,738 in 2016 compared to 1,669 in 2011, which is a plus 69 more people and 4% increase. So there's not too many that are increasing, but those that are doing quite well. And Helen Drysdale's Out of Helen's Kitchen, shepherd's pie. And this year, Canada is celebrating 150 years since Confederation, and Helen thought she would spend the next several months showcasing some old recipes in Canada's honor. With our microwaves, electric stoves, and fridges, it is difficult to understand just how labor-intensive preparing food was in the simple kitchens of Canada's early settlers. Cooks in that era had to do everything by hand. As well as cooking, the women had to make their own soap and candles, card and spin wool, knit socks and mittens, sew the family's clothes, raise poultry, clean the home, garden, and split and carry firewood to the kitchen hearth. Oh, I forgot to mention, bear and raise children as they were doing the work. Cooking over a wood fire in the hearth of a log cabin fireplace with restricted provisions was a challenge. Handwritten cookbooks from their country of origin came with them. At first, the settlers favored the customary foods and recipes from their native countries. They soon learned from the indigenous people how to use the abundance of their new home. Thus, new recipes were born. And the recipe is baked tripe and potatoes from an old 1850s book. Put a pound of tripe cut into neat squares in a stewing pot with 4 shred onions, a small teaspoon of pepper and 1 of salt, and enough stock or water to cover it. Let it cook in a slow oven for 3 hours, taking care to fill up the pot should the liquid dry out. When the tripe is perfectly tender, strain away the gravy from which remove all fat and make it as thick as cream with flour. Put the gravy and the tripe into a pie dish and make a cover of mashed potatoes and bake for 10 minutes or until the pastry is hot throughout. The potatoes should be brown on top. And Helen has a sweet potato shepherd's pie from her own kitchen, which contains 1 pound of ground pork and 1 small onion diced, 1 stalk of celery diced, 1 cup fresh chopped mushrooms, 2 tablespoons of oil, 1 1/2 cups chicken broth, 1 25-gram package of Clubhouse pork gravy mix, and 1 to 2 teaspoons Clubhouse roasted garlic, 1/2 teaspoon pepper. The topping is 3 to 4 smaller sweet potatoes peeled and cut, a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon pepper, 2 tablespoons butter, and 1 tablespoon dried parsley. Cook the sweet potatoes. In a pot over medium heat, cook the pork until brown. Remove and drain off fat. In the pot, add the oil, onion, celery, and mushrooms. Sauté 4 to 5 minutes. Stir the gravy mix to the broth, then add to the veggies. Cook for 2 to 3 minutes. Add the roasted garlic and pepper. Pour into a greased casserole dish. Mash the cooked sweet potatoes and mix in the salt, pepper, butter, and parsley. Spread over the meat mixture. Bake at 325 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes or until heated through and bubbly. Sounds very good. And the Spruce Plains RCMP Dispatch, entitled Impaired Drivers Keep RCMP Busy in January. On January 7, police were patrolling Highway 16 near Franklin when they came across a truck that was swerving on the road. A traffic stop was conducted to confirm license and registration validity, as well as driver sobriety. The male driver of the vehicle displayed signs of alcohol consumption, and a roadside screening device was used to check on level of driver sobriety. The male driver failed the test and was arrested for impaired driving. The male was brought back to Neepawa Detachment, where he provided 2 samples of breath, which resulted in readings of 130 and 120 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of blood. As a result, Jeffrey Cook of Neepawa has been charged with impaired operation of a motor vehicle. On January the 8th, Neepawa RCMP were called to a motor vehicle collision in Arden. It was reported that a vehicle had collided with a train at one of the crossings in Arden. Police attended the location and observed a pickup truck with severe damage done. A 68-year-old male from Arden, the lone occupant from the pickup, was pronounced deceased on location. CP Rail Police attended the scene along with the RCMP traffic collision analyst. On January 18, RCMP conducted a traffic stop on Highway 16 as a vehicle was located traveling 134 kilometers per hour. During the stop, police noted that the driver may be impaired and administered a roadside screening device. The driver failed. The male driver was brought back to the Neepawa RCMP detachment, where he provided 2 samples of breath with readings of 140 and 120 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of blood. As a result, Ryan Curtis of Neepawa has been charged with impaired operation of a motor vehicle. On January 21st, at approximately 2 a.m., Minnedosa RCMP conducted a traffic stop in Minnedosa. While speaking with the driver, it was determined that the driver may be impaired by alcohol and administered a roadside screening device. The driver failed. The male driver was brought back to the Minnedosa RCMP detachment, where he provided 2 samples of breath with readings of 110 and 90 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of blood. As a result, Corey Sanderson of Minnedosa has been charged with impaired operation of a motor vehicle. On January 21st, at approximately 3:55 a.m., Minnedosa RCMP located a vehicle in Minnedosa that was the subject of a possible impaired driver. A traffic stop was initiated. The driver was administered a roadside screening device. The driver failed. The male driver was brought back to the Minnedosa RCMP detachment, where he provided 2 samples of breath with readings of 180 and 170 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of blood. As a result, Michael Lilly of Minnedosa has been charged with impaired operation of a motor vehicle. And continued on page 7. On January 28, Neepawa RCMP attended a residence in the 300 block of First Avenue in Neepawa to conduct a curfew check on Harlan Reset. Reset is currently on a curfew as a result of being charged with possession of methamphetamine. Police were notified that Reset had moved away, and it is unknown where Reset is currently residing. As a result, a warrant of arrest has been issued for Reset. If anyone knows the current whereabouts of Reset, please contact the Neepawa RCMP. And update, Spruce Plains had requested the assistance of the public for the whereabouts of Jared Dorn of Minnedosa as there were a number of warrants out for his arrest. On January 15, 2017, Doran was arrested by Red Deer RCMP for being in possession of stolen property. As a result, Doran was transferred back to Manitoba and is currently in custody at Brandon Corrections, where he will deal with his charges. And Speeder of the Month was located by Constable Feek, who located Shauna Harper of Brandon, Manitoba, who was traveling at 147 kilometers per hour in a posted 100 kilometer per hour zone. As a result, Harper was issued a fine for $665.75. Expensive little speeding ticket there. And editor Kate Jackman Atkinson's column, My Perspective, and it's entitled Strength in Numbers. Last week, the Neepawa business community got a reminder of the good that can come from working together. Chuck Davidson, president of the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce, was in town to visit local businesses and speak at the Neepawa Chamber's annual general meeting. It marked a good opportunity to step back and look at the big picture. It's only natural that our focus tends to narrow. Most businesses are focused on the day-to-day grind, helping their existing customers, getting new customers, and dealing with staff and suppliers. Most business owners and managers are focused on edging out their competition, being more successful than the business next door and down the street. In this daily grind, we are hesitant to share, worried it will put us at a competitive disadvantage. But Davidson talked about the benefits that can be found from working together. By joining together, thousands of individual business owners can become a powerful force. By banding together and amplifying their voice, they can make their ideas and concerns heard. Right now, provincial and federal governments are reviewing policies that will impact Manitoba businesses, and to do that, they are seeking input from business owners, and in particular, are working with chambers of commerce. This is what makes a chamber and similar groups so important. They offer a recognized avenue for the transfer of information to and from the business community. Just this month, the power of a united business community was seen. Earlier last week, the federal Liberal government wasn't ruling out a tax on health and dental benefits as part of plans to increase revenue. The Manitoba Chamber of Commerce, along with sister organizations across the country, mobilized and asked local chamber members to spread the word and write their MP. The move was opposed as it would not only raise costs for businesses, but those higher costs were likely to make fewer employers offer this benefit to their employees. After pushback from the business community, on Wednesday, February the 1st, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a commitment, saying that they wouldn't be raising taxes on those benefits. In a release, Davidson thanked the 70 chambers in Manitoba who wrote to their MPs, part of the nationwide opposition that was mobilized in response to the potential tax increase. This doesn't just happen at the national level. I've seen widespread opposition from local businesses change municipal policy too. It can be done, but not by one individual business. We forget that though we may be small individually, collectively, the business community is the foundation of the country. Canadian businesses provide employment and tax revenue. Without commerce, we would be in grave trouble, and governments know that too. While we may be competing with our neighboring businesses every day for customers, at the end of the day, we are all in the same boat. A strong community means more shoppers for all businesses. A supportive government means more vibrant businesses who can offer shoppers the products they want without having to go out of town, out of province, or out of country. But this can only happen when we work together. A strong business community can play a vital role in helping a community grow. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? and Rita Friesen's Homebodies column titled The Me You Seldom See. What to have for supper? I gave the topic deep and earnest consideration. Nutritional food in the freezer and in the pantry. But after due deliberation, I made a chocolate cake from scratch, and as soon as it was cool enough, proceeded to eat half of it. No icing, no ice cream, just deep chocolate cake. It tasted good to the very last bite. To be fair, it was only an 8x8 pan. I wasn't a touch hungry at bedtime. Let them eat cake, attributed to Marie Antoinette, words of ancient history. I used to think that things like manicures, pedicures, facials, and such were a tad self-indulgent. Now I see these treatments not as a luxury, but as self-care. One theory is that with so many people living alone or lonely, we are willing to pay to have someone touch us with care and consideration and with our approval. That may be. For me, I now see that when I look my best, it is easier to feel my best. Truthfully, I usually give myself my own pedicure and forfeit manicures. My fingernails crack and split and look ragged most of the time. I don't chew my nails, stopped that on a bet in grade 12, but I can't see them looking good very long, even if I had work done on them. I am so hands-on and impulsive to work well with gloves, not for washing dishes or digging in the garden. I am hankering for eyelashes, but I will give it some thought. Like some color in my hair these days as well. Pink, blue, purple, just a spot of brightness. I do it because I can. This, above all, to thine own self be true. William Shakespeare, words of an ancient playwright. My home is designed with a cubicle of closets in the center. This allows for running in circles. The dogs and I have great games of hide and seek, tag, and chase the toy. We play until we're tired and thirsty. I laugh aloud at their antics. I read books that I've read countless times because they make me laugh. Watch clips of Tim Conway and Carol Burnett and laugh till my side aches. Favorite shows are comedy, not so much the stand-up type. I don't always find them truly funny, but a program that causes me to smile, if not laugh. Anyone who lives alone knows the silence of the home, misses retelling the day's adventures, sharing tears and laughter. Well, tears come easy, but laughter can be elusive. Good thing I've always been able to laugh at myself. Stop and think what it is I am searching for this time. Catch myself talking to the dogs and waiting for an answer. Yep, I can laugh at myself frequently. A merry heart is like a medicine. The Bible, words of ancient scripture. That is so true. Agnition ready for action, and we have a photo here under which it says promoting Generate for Crops at the SureGrow Monroe Farm Supplies booth at the 2017 Ag Days, where Jenna Blair from Neepawa, Bryce Wilkinson, Wascata, Charlie McLaughlin, Shoal Lake, and Cam Tibbet. Neepawa. SureGrow Farm Services, Monroe Farm Services, and Agnition recently hosted a breakfast at the Brandon Curling Club during Ag Days. Attended by area crop producers and representatives from each of the businesses, the meeting provided information on Generate for Crops and Commence products. Assistant Manager of Neepawa's Monroe Farm Supplies, Jenna Blair, commented, "The meeting went well. It was great to receive product knowledge from Agnition firsthand. Grower response was positive. Our customers are anxious to get out in the field and try this product. A number of products were reviewed. Commence is a seed treatment for wheat, formulated with technologies only available from Agnition. Now registered in Canada, Generate for Crops also includes microbial catalyst technology. Additionally, it is formulated with patented Solumin, a process which keeps minerals soluble in water. Microbial catalyst is a product that increases the number and activity of soil microorganisms that liberate the nutrients plants require to thrive. ProCoat encapsulation technology is a film-forming polysaccharide that adheres the active ingredients to commence and then releases them after planting for maximum benefit. In essence, commence liberates nutrients, promotes plant vigor, is compatible with other seed treatments, and enhances drought tolerances. Plants can therefore produce more with less water. In his presentation, Agnition Product Manager Andy Leno said, Generate was especially beneficial to corn and soybean crops. When treated, corn emerges more quickly, has greater root mass, stronger stalks, and larger ears. Soybeans have more root nodules, pods, and stalk strength. Generate for crops is flexible, able to be applied in furrow and by foliar application. Monroe and Shergone are the only ones who will be carrying this product. So many new products coming into the agricultural industry. I'm going to go to the obituaries right now, and then we'll go back to the sports. Dorothy Elaine Lindsay, August the 8th, 1922 to January 24, 2017. Dorothy Elaine Lindsay passed away peacefully at Boundary Trails Health Center in Morden on January 24, 2017. Dorothy was born August 8, 1922, to Fred and Mary Harding in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, and grew up in the Eden, Neepawa area. Dorothy married Stuart Lindsay on November the 4th, 1943. Dorothy and Stu lived and worked in Minnedosa from 1945 to 1948, and then moved back to Neepawa from 1948 to 1979. Dorothy and Stu then spent the next 19 years in Winnipeg before returning to Neepawa. Dorothy's 25-year career with the Bank of Montreal began in Morris and lasted until she retired in Neepawa in 1979. Dorothy was predeceased by her husband Stuart, her parents Fred and Mary Harding, sister and brother-in-law Audrey and Russ Craig, son-in-law Fred Kosmolak. For many years, Dorothy and Stu enjoyed a cabin at Clear Lake, the company of friends, dances, especially at the barn at Clear Lake, playing cards and bowling. Dorothy leaves to cherish her memory daughters Norma Lindsay, Barbara, Dawn, Cameron, grandchildren Shay Kosmolak, Hagen, Janice Kosmolak, Lindsay, Pete Peters, and Tyler, Lee Cameron. 3 great-grandsons, Freddie, Riley, and Eric. Dorothy also leaves to cherish her memory her sisters-in-law, Phyllis Sanderson, Muriel Taylor, and many nieces and nephews. A private family service will take place at a later date. Donation in Dorothy's memory may be made to the Neepawa and District Palliative Care. George Isaac Grant. George Isaac Grant passed away suddenly at the age of 84 on January 14, 2017. He is remembered by his wife Joanne, married 53 years, sons Rick, Sherry, Darren, Cynthia, grandkids Tristan, Caitlin, Elena, Curtis, Kerrigan, Hannah, Abigail, great-grandkids Grant, Lee Kerrigan, sisters Jean, Elsie, Jerry. A graveside service was held January 19, 2017. Luncheon was held at the Legion Hall. At this time, we, the family, would like to thank everyone for their support, phone calls, food, cards, and flowers. Special thanks to the Legion ladies for lunch, Brian James and staff at White's Funeral Home, the paramedics who worked so hard to save George, and Rita Friesen for the service. Ivy Dawn Graham Wells, February 18, 1921 to January 23rd, 2017. In loving memory of Dawn, who passed away peacefully on Monday, January 23rd, 2017, at the Convalescent Home of Winnipeg at the age of 95 years. Dawn will be sadly missed and lovingly remembered by her siblings, James, John, and Charles Wells, and Francis Fraser. Daughter Joan, John Platnick. Sons James, Teresa, and Donald, Diane, as well as her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She was predeceased by her husband Kenneth. Parents Ada and John Wells, and siblings Joan, Andrew, Alex, Winona, and Beth. A celebration of Dawn's life was held on Saturday, January 28, 2017, at 3 p.m. in the Chapel of Memories at Wojcik's Funeral Chapel, Winnipeg. Interment will be held in Erickson Cemetery, Erickson, Manitoba, at a later date. The family would like to extend their appreciation to all the staff of the Convalescent Home of Winnipeg, especially Isaac and the third-floor staff, for their kindness and compassion during the years Dawn was a resident. In lieu of flowers, donations may be made to a charity of one's choice. Shirley Ann Fair. Shirley Ann Fair McLennan passed away early on Sunday, February the 5th, 2017, in Neepawa Health Center. She is survived by a husband of 59 years, Weldon, and 4 children with 9 grandchildren. Terry, Lorelei, children Galen and Kiana, Wendy, Francis, children Kyle, Jesse, Lacey, Lane, Heidi, Noreen, Eric, children Jared, Justina, Mandy, Jeff, Cam, Gwen, child Sydney. Also surviving her are brother Don, Gail McLennan, and sister Marie Grant McCrae. Shirley was predeceased by her parents, Milda and Archibald McLennan, and younger sister Carol. Born November 17, 1934 in Neepawa, the eldest child of 4, Shirley grew up in the Helston district, where the McLennans had farmed for a generation. She attended Burton School in Helston, with many thanks to her horse, Birdie. High school began with grades 9 and 10 being completed by correspondence. During grades 11 and 12, she commuted daily to Gladstone in an old truck, with occasional stays at her grandparents', Lackey or McLennan, place in town when either circumstances or the truck would not allow her home. Upon completion of high school in 1952, Shirley and a friend moved to Falcon Lake for a few months, where they worked in a restaurant until nursing school began after Christmas of 1953. The registered nursing program took 3 years to complete, with graduation in 1956. Thereafter, she began work in Portage District General Hospital until her marriage to Weldon in June of 1957. After 24 years of raising children and farming, she returned to nursing in Gladstone for a final 16 years until her retirement in 1997. The farm was sold in 1998 and a new life in town began. Family and community were her priority. When her young children returned home from school, she always waited with the door open. She made certain daughters were enrolled in 4-H and music, while being one of the early hockey moms, a regular in the kitchen of the local skating rink. Her interest in youth activities continued to her grandchildren, where she could be seen embarrassing those around her, loudly encouraging grandchildren at rodeos and baseball games. Although knowing nothing about basketball, she watched granddaughters playing the game. Christmas concerts and music festivals were also attended, either as a volunteer or simply to watch grandchildren. Upon retirement, Weldon and Shirley took the opportunity to fulfill some of their wanderlust by camping and traveling to the British Isles, Australia, Alaska, the Caribbean, and to many points across Canada, until ill health curtailed all but the trips to visit family in Calgary. Through her life, she belonged to the Royal Purple, United Church Women, Red Hat Society, and Toastmistresses. She served many years as a district reporter for the local newspaper and canvassed for numerous charitable organizations. No conversation about Shirley would be complete without commenting on her passion for flower and vegetable gardens. The nurses at the Neepawa Health Center assisted Shirley a great deal in recent years and are thanked for their compassion. Dr. George Ong was Shirley's doctor for decades and is credited with enabling several additional years of life. Thank you to all. A celebration of life will be held at the Gladstone United Church Friday, February the 10th, 2017 at 2 p.m. after a private graveside service has been held. Cremation will take place. If people so wish, a donation in memory could be made to the Gladstone United Church or to a charity of your choice. We could also volunteer with our favorite community organization in memory of Shirley. Brian Douglas Kitson. With sadness, we announce the passing of Brian Douglas Kitson on January 7, 2017. Brian was born in Neepawa Hospital, June the 10th, 1961, to parents Joan and Douglas Kitson. Brian was raised on the family farm at Franklin, Manitoba. He attended Franklin School for grade 1, but when this school closed, Brian then completed his education in Neepawa, graduating from NACI in 1980. Brian enjoyed sports, mostly baseball and curling. Music was one of his main passions. In high school, Brian joined the NACI band as a drummer. He played in dance bands for weddings, socials, anniversaries, and dances throughout Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario. Brian worked a variety of jobs over the course of his life. When very young, some of his jobs were with Beaver Lumber, Chimo, Spring Hill Farms, and Hans Whelan Car Dealership. He apprenticed in Dryden with Brisson Electric and graduated from the Confederate College in Thunder Bay with his journeyman electrician diploma. Some of his electrical contracts were climbing microwave towers to replace signal lights, pulling wire in the Fort Garry Hotel for the new casino, Kiosk and Wasquatum hydro dams north of Thompson, and the Alcan plant in Kitimat, BC. He was proud of being a member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Brian had many loves over his life with his music, work, and friends, but his true love was his family. Brian and Kelly Strand were married July 18, 1992, and along with his stepdaughter Leanne, they were blessed with two sons, Jace and Trey. Brian will be sadly missed by Kelly, sons Jace and Trey, stepdaughter Leanne, his mother Joan, sister Heather, Peter, Barons, brothers Kevin, Dorina, and Trevor, Aileen, nieces and nephews, Aunt Joyce, Welburn, and many cousins and friends. Brian was predeceased by his father Douglas in 2000, grandparents Jack and Dolly Kitson, Bill and Hazel Griffith, as well as many aunts and uncles. Thomas Howard Medill. It is with great sadness that the family of Tom Medill announced his passing on January 31st, 2017 at Third Crossing Manor, Gladstone. Tom was born on August 26, 1923 in Cootehill County, Cavan, Ireland. When Tom was 4 years old, he came to Canada by boat with his parents. Tom was the eldest of a large family born to Thomas and Maud Medill. Tom's memory will dearly be treasured by his loving wife of 66 years. Tom married Elizabeth Leach on November 20, 1950, and together they moved onto a farm northwest of Plumas. Here they raised their 4 children and proudly watched their family expand. Besides farming, Tom held the position of weed supervisor for Westburn and Lansdowne municipalities from 1965 to 1984. He also served a number of years as a councillor for the Lansdowne municipality. Tom moved into Third Crossing Manor in 2014 and looked forward to his wife's daily visits. Tom was happiest when surrounded by family, friends, and good food. He lived his life by the simple rules of care for your family, work hard, and treat people fairly. Left to mourn his passing are wife Elizabeth, daughter Wanda, Paul Lowe of Stonewall, son Howard, Claire Medill of Victoria, BC, daughter Tanya, Dawn Kunzelman of Plumas, and son Pat, Lorraine Medill of Brandon. Grandchildren and great-grandchildren Madeline, Charles, Christopher, Tasha, Alex, Katrina, Connor, Ward, Drew, Isaac, and Aspen. Siblings Celine, Jake, Gunther, Carol, Bob Bladen, and Bruce Medill, as well as many extended family members, neighbors, and friends. He was predeceased by his siblings Daisy, James, Mark, Billy, and Florence. A funeral service was held on Tuesday, February the 7th, 2017 at 2 p.m. at the Zion Lutheran Church, Plumas. Interment followed at the Plumas Cemetery. And those are the obituaries. In the sports, Neepawa loses to OCN. The Neepawa natives were hoping to return from northern Manitoba with some much-needed points in the standings. Unfortunately, that didn't come to be, as they dropped a pair of games to the OCN Blizzard last weekend. The first game on Friday, February the 3rd, ended with extreme disappointment as OCN scored the game winner with just 7 seconds left in regulation for the 5-4 win. Nolan Richards potted a pair of goals for Neepawa, while Brad Marshall and Justin Metcalf put away singles. The next night, OCN jumped out to a quick lead and held on to a 6-3 decision. Metcalf scored a pair of goals, with Ashton Anderson putting away the other. Neepawa will play a pair of home games this weekend at the Yellowhead Center. The first is on Friday, February the 10th, against the Portage Terriers. That's followed up on Sunday, February 12th, with a game versus the Winnipeg Blues. The MJHL standings, 1st to 11, Neepawa natives are at number 10 position. Yellowhead splits weekend. The Yellowhead AAA Midget Chiefs played a pair of games last weekend in Shoal Lake. The first on Saturday, February 4, was against the team they're chasing in the standings, the first place Winnipeg Wild. A 4-goal second period would help lift the Wild to a 6-3 win over the Chiefs. Noah Geekie, Parker Johnson, and Jackson Heaney scored for the Yellowhead. The next night, the Chiefs were again challenged by a Winnipeg-based team. This time it was the Thrashers. The result on this evening was much more positive for the home side, as Yellowhead doubled up Winnipeg 4-2. Mackenzie Belinsky picked up a pair of goals, while Braden Gillies and Eric Lemoyne also scored for the Chiefs. This weekend split leaves Yellowhead with a 26-5-3 regular season record and puts them 5 points back of the Wild for first place. The Chiefs play a pair of games this weekend, one at home to Eastman on Friday, February 10. The next night, Yellowhead travels to Verdun to face the Southwest Cougars. Neepawa Figure Skating Club attends regionals. The Neepawa Figure Skating Club was well represented at the North-South Westman Star Skate Regional Competition in Deloraine on February 3rd to 4th. In the Creative Improvement event, Addison Atke earned a bronze ribbon. Addison also earned a bronze ribbon in her Star 2 free skate. In the Star 4 under 13 free skate flight A event, Cordelia Smith placed 4th, while Jenna Beaumont placed 6th. Carissa Ellis brought home the bronze medal in the Star 4 under 13 free skate flight B event. In the Star 4 free skate over 13 event, Haley Lindsay brought home a bronze medal, while Annika Atke placed fourth. Kara Ellis won the bronze medal in the Star 5 over 13 free skate event. Neepawa showed off their strong creative talents in the interpretive events. Cordelia Smith earned a gold ribbon in the pre-introductory interpretive event. Jenna Beaumont and Kara Ellis earned gold ribbons, while Annika Atke and Haley Lindsay earned silver ribbons in the intro interpretive event. Carissa Ellis won the bronze medal in the bronze interpretive event. Coaches Cynthia Chartrand and Kim Smith were very pleased with the strong performances by all the Neepawa skaters, and they are looking forward to seeing the progress of the skaters as they get ready for provincials in March. And there's a photo here with members of the Neepawa Figure Skating Club, consisting of Kara Ellis, Annika Atke, Cordelia Smith, Addison Atke, Brooklyn Chartrand, Carissa Ellis, Haley Lindsay, and Jenna Beaumont. And Onishko is honored by Gymnastics Canada. Isabella Onishko has been named the co-winner of the Gymnastics Canada Senior Athlete of the Year. Brandon Eagles gymnast Isabella Onishko and Ellie Black were named Gymnastics Canada's 2016 Senior Athletes of the Year on Saturday night in Halifax. The two women led Canada's artistic gymnastics team in Rio, each qualifying for the all-around final, where Black finished a Canadian best 5th place. Isabella Onishko has become a household name in artistic gymnastics in the last 2 years, and the young Manitoban gymnast surprised Canadians with her performances in Rio last summer. In 2014, Isabella made her first mark on the international stage, competing at the Commonwealth Games and making her debut at the FIG World Championships. In April 2015, Onishko captured her first international gold medals, winning the beam and uneven bars events at the World Challenge Cup in Slovenia, where she also won silver in the floor exercise. Injured throughout the 2015 Pan Am Games, Isabella remained an underdog entering into her Olympic year, but proved herself a world-class athlete time and again with her consistent performances at major national and international events. In 2016, Onishko rose to the top at the Canadian senior level, dethroning all-around champion Ellie Black at Elite Canada and at the 2016 Canadian Championships. Onishka had effectively sealed her ticket to the Olympic Games last March with a gold medal winning performance in the individual all-around at La International Gymnics. At her Olympic debut in Rio, Onishko qualified for the all-around final, where she placed 18th, and became the first Canadian in history to qualify for the beam final, where she placed 8th. Isabella Onishko is still only 18 years old, is truly a Manitoba-grown talent. The Minnedosa-born gymnast has been training in Brandon for over a decade, under the mentorship of Brandon Eagles coaches Laurie Henderson and Joe Stauffer. Stauffer and Henderson were also honored this weekend, as they were named Senior Coaches of the Year, alongside David Kikichu and Kiji Yamanaka. Sounds like she's doing absolutely excellent, and we wish her all the best. Some of the top bowling scores: Club 55 league results of January 27th. Ladies high single, Myrnie Croker, 240. Ladies high triple, Shirley McCoskey at 576. Men's high single and triple, Norman Kendall, 289 and 731. Club 55 league results, February the 3rd. Ladies high single, Vivian Oswald, 227. Ladies high triple, Ellen Gradetsky, 500. Men's high single, Don DeNoon and Frank Parada at 262. Men's high triple, Jim King at 642. And just a little note here, the Tigers Hockey Fan Appreciation Night is Saturday, February 11th at the Yellowhead Arena versus the Verdon Golden Bears. Starts at 7:15 and it's free admission. So that might be very nice to go to. And Prospects Watch, Sam Stewart. Sam Stewart admits it was the toughest decision of his still very young life. At 16, he had to make a decision that would have significant consequences well into the future. Play NCAA college hockey or sign on with the Western Hockey League team. Flip a coin. Tails it's the dub, heads it's college. If it were only that simple. I was very, very nervous, admits the talented Neepawa Natives defenseman. The decision was pretty much all I could focus on for a couple of weeks. I was lucky that I could talk to some very good people. In the end, Stewart signed a WHL card with Tri-City Americans. That decision would then slam the door on the NCAA hockey route. I spoke to my assistant coach, Ryan Manet, my billet, Matt Lowry, who both had similar decisions to make when they were younger. They could relate to me. We had very good talks. It was a tough decision, but it's one I feel confident making. Many players find themselves in similar situations as Stewart. The decision does not come without significant mental stress. In the end, Stewart came away feeling pretty good. But then he picked up the phone and notified the college team, which was interested in him. It was a tough call, remembers Stewart. Honestly, I had gone back and forth a couple of times on my decisions. I spoke to them, college coach, and explained my decision. I know they've heard it before from other players. In the end, the Western Hockey League won out. Tri-City really showed a lot of interest in me, said Stewart. Their GM, Bob Torrey, flew into Winnipeg to watch me during our showcase. That means a lot. I looked at everything when I made my decision. The length of the schedule, daily practices, the competition level. It made sense for me to go the WHL route. Stewart, who hails from Winnipeg, also credits his time in the MJHL for helping him prepare for the next step in his hockey career. Moving to Neepawa was a major adjustment for the city kid. But like thousands of others before him, leaving home at a young age comes with the hockey adventure. The MHL is a very good league, he said. There's a lot of skill here. It was definitely an adjustment for me, moving from midget to junior A. Guys are faster, stronger, older. And the natives couldn't be happier for Stewart. Sam is a skilled defenseman that plays older than his age, said Natives general manager Miles Cathcart. He sees the ice extremely well, plays in all situations, and is a student of the game. Sam was able to develop this season so that he is ready to play at the next level. He is a quality young man off the ice and exhibits a professional attitude towards the game of hockey. In the meantime, Stewart is focused on a number of short-term goals, helping Neepawa make the playoffs, continuing to improve his game, and join the Americans when his MJHL season comes to an end. I feel so relieved that I've made my decision. Now I can focus on other things which can help me improve. I'm also having fun, and that means a lot too, said Stewart. And there's a very nice photo here of Sam Stewart. We wish him all the best in his future career. It sounds like he's well on the way. Box Neepawa Combat Sports Club has a little advertisement with their 2017 special for boxing, kickboxing, grappling, fitness. 3-month memberships. The youth is $105, teen 120, and adult 135. And that is the Neepawa banner. Thank you very, very much for listening to us, and we hope you tune in next week. Thank you. All right.